Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Seth Moore coming again to you here on Anchor by Spotify. It is currently 35 degrees outside. Actually, it's going to be 56 today and cloudy in the Love State here in Virginia. And we're coming to you to bring you another podcast. And we're going to be talking about this morning spiritual metamorphosis. And for those of you who are transitioning and you feel something different happening within your life, in your spiritual life, in your spiritual awakening, you feel a shifting, we're going to share some of that with you today. And we're going to be talking about how this is affecting your transfiguration, your muting to another plane altogether, and how that this is probably strange to you and it feels different. And we're going to be talking about that and how that this transition, because it's happening to me as well, and how that you are absolutely seeing things differently, and how this is really outside of your usual regimen of living, and this metamorphosis is so profound, because you'll find yourself, as a matter of fact, you'll find yourself in a way where you are literally escaping, and you're not running from, but you are absolutely escaping the normal way and the way things were done and the way that they are done. And, the profound thing about this is that things will begin to happen and it's outside of your mind. And we talked about this before, about you are not the mind, and how the mind is not controlling you, because you're in a total different dimension. And it's like you could think about, you can have a thought. See, now this is the difference between not being in the mind and you're not the mind, but you can have a thought. See, you follow me? See, this is how profound this is. You can have a thought that will take you somewhere, and you will already be there as if though you're there. You know what I mean? You will be there as though you were there, because it was just a thought. It was a thought that came, and you immediately transitioned to that place. And that's the difference in not being in the mind, but having a thought that will come to you. And I don't know if you're following me. See, because for some, this is foreign. It's foreign. It's going to be foreign. And it's going to be foreign because there are principles in their life that they're not following. They don't have a regiment. You have people, and understand this, you have people who are just living day by day. They don't have a spiritual regiment. There's no principles set up in their life spiritually. And this is not to be pejorative or to put anybody down, but it's just facts. It's just truth. And so when there's not principles that universally that are guiding your life, it's kind of like you're all over the place. And I had said this in a podcast some time ago. And I had mentioned, I said, my mind is all over the place, and you have to, for those of you who were like that or like that now, you have to rein in, pull that in, and become not that mind, because you have to be of how can I put this? You have to be of one in the all. Let me put it that way. You have to be one in the all. And when you become one in the all, which is the creator and which is the universe, it is the universe and the creative powers of the creator who will bring you in to this. He will bring you in to this dwelling. And this is not by, it's not by accident. Let me tell you this, it's not by accident. See, because when you begin to principle your spiritual life, it is absolutely amazing the things that you'll begin to experience. You'll begin to see things. Things will begin to happen. See, and this is only for the spiritual, you know. And for those of you, and you always hear me say many times, it's not about religion. Even sometimes people who espouse to Christianity, there'll be times when they'll get a glimpse of certain things. They'll get a glimpse of certain things and they'll be shown something spiritually. See, they'll be shown. Now listen to this. They'll be showing something spiritually, but they won't process it correctly. They'll misinterpret it. You understand? That's the detriment in that. They'll misinterpret it as a religious thing. And when you're showing something spiritually from the Creator, is letting you know that is spiritual. It's not about religion. He's showing you something spiritually. See, because I always emphasize that this is a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey. Make no mistake about it. And see, what often happens is we're being robbed of our spiritual experience. We're being robbed of our spiritual life. We're being robbed of our spiritual ascension. I said it so many different times before. And I want you to understand that. So we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about 7 principles. And I want you to obviously get this. Yeah, I want you to get it. I mean, because it's so important. And again, you know, sometimes it just goes right past people, and they don't, you know, they just don't absorb what they should, you know. And I want you to know that this journey is so profound, and that the time that we're in, it is so critical. It is so critical at this time that spiritual things you begin to grasp onto. You begin to grasp onto these things and to make these things relevant in your everyday existing. You know, because as I often say, it's going to be the spiritual ascension that's going to take you from, you know what I'm saying, from here to the next dimension. You know, and so let's read some stuff, and then we're gonna get back to what we're talking about. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna start with this. We're going to do the 7 principles of comedic spirituality. Okay? And then we'll move on. Comedic spirituality is based on 7 fundamental principles which are essential for living a harmonious and fulfilling life. These principles are Maya, Aset, Haru, Renuta, the Jehudi, Hetheru, and Sekhmet. Okay? Maya is the principle of the truth. Now, some of you guys may have already be familiar with Maya. Okay, and I'm sure some of you may be. It is the foundation of comedic spirituality, and everything in the universe is based on it. Maya is represented by the feather of truth, which weighs down our hearts when we commit wrong deeds. We must always strive to live in accordance with Maya and to seek balance in all aspects of our lives. Now, some people, they believe. I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and we had a great conversation with me and 2 other gentlemen. One younger guy who happened to be real sharp. The younger guy, the older guy, he was talking about, he had mentioned the 10 commandments, but he was, had a beer in his hand, and he's, and that doesn't, and let me say this too, because oftentimes, you'll get self-righteous people who will say, because a person may have some vices in their life, that the Creator can't speak to them, or can't, for lack of a better word, use them for a purpose, which is totally false. Oftentimes, it's those individuals who the Creator does use. Okay, but what I was trying to get this gentleman to see and to understand, and it was done in a way of love. It was done in a way of, lifting him up. And what was actually discussed was that we have to get rid of vices that hinder our lives. Vices that weigh us down, where we can't receive the greater from the Creator, because we have vices that are blocking, as we talked about before when we talked about that magnetic field. So if you got vices such as, smoking, consuming alcohol, committing adultery, all of these things block your ascension. They block your pineal gland. They block you from being able to connect with the higher source, right? Because it does say that your body is a temple. Am I on point? Is that correct? So if your body is a temple, then you have to operate out of a clean vessel. And truthfully, a lot of us, including myself, haven't always been operating from a clean vessel. But like the brothers say, these things have levels. So you have to grow. And so if you're not growing, and we shared this before, then you really have to take a look and say, am I spiritually growing? See, because whether or not you are. So that's why I'm here today talking about spiritual metamorphosis, because there is, for me, a transition in my spiritual life. I noticed the transition. I know what's happening. I know that I'm not what I used to be. I know that there's spiritual things that are happening in my life. My mind is not my mind. I understand that. I understand it. I understand it. That I'm operating from a different spiritual plateau. This I do know. I do know this unequivocally. I do know this. That there's something that's transitioning. There's something that's happening. And so this is what I want to happen with you. So when we talk about, and as I was talking about with this gentleman, he was talking about, he started talking about the 10th commandments. And I had said, well, that, you know, it's not about keeping the 10 commandments. I said, because most of the time, I said, what happens is people don't keep these things. I said, they don't espouse to them. They just don't, so you have to really look at your spiritual life and say, what are you doing to raise your kundalini? What are you doing to be a spiritual entity in this universe? Because that's exactly what you are. That's exactly what you are. You're a spiritual entity. So, and so the parallel that I actually wanted to make was he talked about the 10th commandments, and we're talking about Maya. See, because all of this stuff in Maya, Christianity borrowed it. So, and then of course, that in Maya, the heart is weighed against the feather. And it's sort of a judgment as to, the way Christianity talks about it in the Bible. It talks about you're going to stand before the judgment. And the Maya is the same way, because Christianity had borrowed from Maya, had borrowed from Kemetic theology to formulate what we now know as Christianity. Okay? So, and it says, aset, okay, is the principle of love, compassion, healing. Aset represents the ultimate mother figure who loves unconditionally and heals all wounds. She teaches us to love ourselves and others unconditionally. Listen to this, unconditionally. See, and this is what we don't have in the world now, because everything now with a lot of people is predicated on something. I'll love you if you do this. I love you if you do that. I love you if you be this. I love you if you be that. See, so we still have people operating from a worldly view who say they espouse to this religion, or they espouse to that religion, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. But they don't follow the principles of Maya. And so it would be the same saying you're not following the commandments. You follow me? Because one was borrowed from the other, and they're saying practically the same thing. But if you're not keeping them, if you're not doing it, then what's the use? And it says here, loving unconditionally. And see, you have people who are, how can I put it? Who will love you based on worldly views, or based on worldly attachments. they will love you. And then if it's not, if there isn't any benefit for them, then they don't love you. That's not love. That's worldly carnal stuff. I love you based upon material attachments. Or if you are like this for me, if I can use you and get something out of you, then I'll love you. Or then I have a pseudo love for you anyways, which is not real anyways. Okay? But I'll love you based upon those things. But that's not real. That's not love. It's fake, and it's pseudo. So, and then it says, as I just read, it says, she teaches us to love ourselves and others unconditionally, to forgive those who have hurt us, and to heal from our own wounds. And you do. You have to forgive people who have hurt you. You have to do that. Okay? And it goes on to say, Heru is the principle of courage, strength, and determination. Heru represents the warrior within us all. He is brave enough to face any challenge and strong enough to overcome any obstacle. He teaches us to stand up for what we believe in, even when it seems impossible, and to never give up on our dreams. See, the warrior in you teaches you to love people, to face things with bravery, challenge, and to be strong enough to overcome any obstacle. Okay? Even when it seems impossible, you never give up. That's the creator. See, because the difference is your passion for the universe, your passion for love is not predicated on any tangibles and attachments. That's the difference. That's the difference. When your passion and love is to make everything around you better, to make the universe better, to encounter and treat people correctly and do the right thing. That's what it's really about. Because if you're not here to affect change in the universe and the people that you're around, what are you doing? What are you really doing? Either you're creating a self-centered thing about you and what's around you that is self-centered. It's got to be about you, and it's about what you gain and how you come out. It's and the only way you see people is what people could do for you, to lift you up, to make you what you want to be. But you're not concerned in lifting others up. See, and you have a lot of individuals in this world who are like that. How can I get myself to this place? And I see people as a way, to get me where I want to. I'm an opportunist. It's just about where I want to go. I'm not concerned about other people. So, moving right along. Retnutet is the principle of abundance, fertility, and prosperity. Retnutet represents the fertile earth, which provides us with everything we need to live. She teaches us to be grateful for what we have and to trust that the universe will provide for our needs. See, this right here is the principle that most people want to espouse to. It's the main thing for a lot of people because they want abundance. They want prosperity. But they have no idea and how it's supposed to manifest. So they'll do anything to bring about a manifestation because you have people who are constantly on a chase. They're chasing that bag when not understanding that the Creator can bring it to you. So it's fertile earth. And if it's fertile earth, then you put your seeds in the earth, it says, which it provides us with everything we need to live. If you sow the right seeds, if you plant the right seeds, you'll bring back a harvest. She teaches us to be grateful for whatever we have. I'm grateful today. I'm very grateful to the universe. I'm grateful to the Creator. Jehudi teaches us, it says here, is the principle of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The Jehudi represents the wise teacher who helps us to see things from a different perspective and to understand the hidden meaning of things. He teaches us to seek knowledge and wisdom in all aspects of our lives. I would like to think that that's what's being done today. So there has to be principles. Your life has to be principled in a way where the universe acknowledges it. And the universe will acknowledge it and let you know if you are actually making that transition. Het-Aru is the principle of joy, happiness, and pleasure. Het-Aru represents the playful child within us all. She is always happy and loves to have fun. She teaches us to enjoy life and find happiness in every moment. And this is what I said this before, and I when we was talking in one of the other podcasts, when I mentioned, I said, life is serious, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun. You can still have fun. I just be mindful. Your intuition, as we talked about before, your intuition in a place where you understand what is actually happening around you and in the world, and that you still can enjoy your life. You can still enjoy your life and you can still have fun. What I was trying to get across was that don't allow the fun to make you blind. You follow me? Where everything is fun and you're not spiritually attuned or connected. That's what I was talking about. Sekhmet is the principle of power, strength, and passion. Sekhmet represents the powerful goddess who protects us from harm and gives us the strength to face our fear. She teaches us to embrace our own power and use it for good. Okay, sisters, y'all have to Sekhmet. Y'all have to begin to strengthen. You can't be in a posture where you want everything to go your way and you want men to just give you things because you think that you're the prize. And so men should give to you and be the teacher. You're supposed to be the strength and the power with passion, representing that powerful goddess to protect from harm and to give strength in the face of fears. Now this may sound off base to a lot of women because you say, oh, the man is supposed to protect. It says Sekhmet. This is a principle of protection. And the man should. But it's referring to the goddess. A man is not a goddess. So it's your job to strengthen and uphold that masculine energy. that masculine energy, to hold and to teach your children to embrace that power. Because there's a great amount of power that comes from you. A great amount of power that comes from you. So that they can embrace that power and use it for good. Kemetic spirituality is based on these 7 fundamental principles. By understanding and applying these principles in our lives, we can create harmonious and fulfilling life for ourselves and for the world around us. So let us pause, and we're going to be coming back, and we're going to continue with spiritual metamorphosis, okay? We're going to continue. We're not done. So you guys stay with us, and we're going to come back, and we're going to take this even a notch or 2 deeper. So stay with us, and we will be back in a moment. Okay.